Welcome back to Hazed Reactions. Got myself, Rick, Corrina, and Robert. And we are here for a very, very special episode. Like, we are literally recording this at 10 o'clock at night because we want to make sure we can get this out to you as quickly as possible. And what I'm talking about is her interview. And by her, I mean her.
The her.
Taylor.
She
fucking Swift.
HERLOR.
T-Swizzle.
Now, she was being interviewed by the New York Times. Why was that?
Yes. So she did a little short, just like 30-minute interview with New York Times because she was picked on the list of the 30 best living songwriters of our, like, right now, you know, that are still alive. Kind of running this generation, whatever. And Taylor was put on the list. Now, one thing I do want to say just straight up front, it wasn't like ranked or anything. So there's not really like an order, because I know that'll be like question one is like where on the list was Taylor. Especially because like I'm going to read you guys the list of these 30 names on here. And there's some heavy hitter, really good writers in there.
Okay.
But there is no actual order. But yeah, so this interview just came out, I want to say Wednesday. So like 2 days ago. We're recording this Friday. It's May 1st. Yeah, we're recording this May 1st. I want to say it came out 2 days ago. And just for all the viewers out there, this is kind of a little bit of what we were talking about on our community, our YouTube community. This is why we canceled the release, one of the Taylor's reaction releases that we were going to do on Thursday or on Friday, because it would have affected a bunch of editing and stuff like that. And we really wanted to make sure that we had time to record this, edit it, and get it out to you guys. So hopefully you guys understand. I am very excited to show the boys this interview. I think this is the first interview for me, I know, for Robert. Yeah, definitely for Robert.
I mean, other than like little clips you've shown me in the garage on TikTok or whatever.
And you and I did just like a heads up out there for everyone. And we may consider revisiting it later down the road after we do like the Masters and the Eras Tour journeys. But you and I, before the channel, did watch the New Heights podcast interview with Taylor Swift. And that, you know, so you did get to see like one of her biggest interviews ever, honestly. I don't think she's ever done an interview that long.
It was really good. It was a great interview. So, okay, before we dive into this, let's hear some of these heavy hitters that were on the list with her.
All right,
yes,
so
I'm very curious about this.
Yeah.
And I also just want to clarify, it is American songwriters. So it is the 30 greatest living American songwriters. So, because I know
Times.
Yes, this is by New York Times. And it says more than 250 music insiders and 6 New York Times critics weighed in on who defines the new American songbook. Here is an unranked list and the artists that they chose.
The new American songbook. And I can understand real quick before you start diving into all of these, why they would do it unranked, because how do you rank poets?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah, you can't really do that. And I will just, full transparency, there are quite a few names on here that I don't even know who they are. So if you guys don't know, I probably don't know either. But the first name on the list here is Nile Rodgers.
Makes sense.
Second is Lucinda Williams. Then we have Stevie Wonder.
Of course.
Okay.
Then we have Jay-Z.
Of course.
Okay.
Then we have Paul Simon.
Makes sense.
Okay. Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Brian and Eddie Holland.
Sounds familiar.
I know it sounds.
Let's see. Missy Elliott. Lionel Richie.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Dolly Parton.
Let's go, Dolly.
Let's get it.
Young Thug.
What?
That's a little questionable. And I fucks with Young Thug.
I like Young Thug, but what?
He's on the list.
Look, I like to gossip with my bitch. Call me Young Thug too.
Young Thug too. Like, but damn, that's okay. Whoa. Right. And you're telling me this is on the same list as
Paul Simon?
Swift and Taylor
Swift?
Paul Simon, Jay-Z, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, I'm no hate, Young Thug. My bad, dog.
Get it, bro.
Next up is Diane Warren. Next is Josh Osborne, Brandy Clark, Shane McNally.
Mick Ainley.
There you go. Fiona Apple. You're a dick. Fiona Apple. Babyface.
Fiona Apple, though, and Babyface.
Okay, good.
I like
valid.
both. I like
That's
both.
valid. That's very valid. Very valid.
Stephen Merritt. I'm not sure exactly.
Pronunciation. Probably
Maybe
seven.
Stefan Merritt. You never know.
Something like that. Romeo Santos.
I know
I've
that
heard
name.
of that. Yeah,
He's
I've
an
heard of that
R&B writer, I'm sure.
Dominican American. Okay, boy band, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I was just quick scrolling. Carole King.
Makes sense.
Outcast.
Of course.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and they're on there as like as Outcast, as a duo.
That's okay. Then that's because even big. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I like it.
Mariah Carey.
Okay. Valid.
Willie Nelson. Kendrick Lamar.
Of course.
Okay.
Valerie Simpson. Bob Dylan.
Yep.
Lana Del Rey.
Okay, Lana.
The Dream.
The Dream.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
he's had some tones.
We've got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Oh yeah, of course.
Bad Bunny.
Okay.
Bruce Springsteen. Smokey Robinson, and that is the end of the list.
I mean, I think it's a good list.
So those are the top 30 greatest living American songwriters right now. So, according to New York Times, okay, everybody else.
All right. So, with that being said, this is Taylor's interview.
Yes. So Taylor did a little, and I'm not sure if all 30 artists got a little 30-minute interview. I would assume that they did, but I don't know because I also haven't seen one from Kendrick, so I don't know if it was just a few that got. I have no idea.
Maybe it's because she's.
Have you seen?
In New York.
I haven't seen any interviews from anybody else, but I don't really closely follow most of the other people. So
first off, on a pop theme, and I think Katie would be excited to hear this. I would like to learn more about Lana Del Rey.
Oh yeah. And her and Taylor have a song together that I think you'd like.
The few stories I've heard about her, she seems like an actual real person.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm interested in hearing about her.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay.
So I mean, unless you guys have any questions or whatever. Oh, also full transparency for you guys and for the viewers out there. I also have not watched this interview yet. I was a good little girl. And I did not watch it. Now, I have seen a few clips on Instagram. I can't avoid it. That's just like my whole Instagram feed is nothing but Taylor stuff.
Brick by brick.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. So I have seen like a few clips from it. So out of the 30-minute interview, I've probably seen like 5 minutes of the entire thing. So I'm actually really excited to watch this myself. Unless you guys have any other questions or anything, we'll dive in.
I've got pencil, paper.
Cool, yeah. And then if something is talked about and you guys like want me to pause or whatever, just let me know. And yeah.
Let's go.
Cool. Ready?
Yes, good.
All right, here we go.
I've been writing songs for so long. And I've started songs and finished songs so many different ways. They've gone through so many journeys. They've happened quickly. They've happened over time. They've been inspired by my life, by mythology, by fables, by books, by movies, by characters, by warnings, lessons. And they never quite happen exactly the same way, and I still don't quite understand how it works. Mm-hmm. I have this very strong opinion that when you're young, you feel things on such a intense and detailed level. There's an attention to detail when you are like 17 to 22 years old and you're longing or you're reaching and grasping but never holding someone's attention or someone's love or someone's dedication, and you can't understand why. You spend all day thinking about it. You notice everything. You notice candle ash on the cuff of the shirt and the button, and it's everything that makes the mythology of those intense feelings that you have. And I've always tried to, like, without being a completely unhinged adult, keep that level of detail and intensity when it comes to trying to describe a feeling.
That's interesting.
My baby's jam.
I started writing songs when I was 12. As soon as my love for singing and picking up an instrument happened, songwriting just spontaneously started becoming the entire cornerstone of my life. I think the first songs that I fell in love with was the type of songwriting that I think folk and country is really kind of known for. It's like that story time structure. Songs like Harper Valley PTA or Goodbye Earl by the Dixie Chicks or any amazing Kenny Chesney song where a hypothetical structure would be, first verse, little girl, learns a lesson that in the chorus her mom teaches her about. Then the little girl grows up and now she's a teenager and she realizes, oh my God, my mom was right about this. Now the second time you hear the hook, that same hook means something a little bit different because she's grown up in her life. Then the bridge, maybe she goes on in her life. She has a little girl. She imparts that wisdom onto her. And then if you really want to get me to cry, bring back that same first line of the song and end the song with it.
Yeah, we know.
So
Taylor.
that was the first thing that made me think it's got to be country music.
Take a deep breath as you walk through the doors.
That was the first type that I really fell in love with. But then lyricism, I was the most intensely impacted by emo music.
Yes.
Right, Dashboard Confessional,
Yes.
Chris Carrabba, Fall Out Boy,
Wow.
Pete Wentz's lyrics, how they take a common phrase and then they just twist the knife of it, right? I'm just a notch in your bedpost, but you're just a line in a song. Drop a heart, break a name, right? It's drop a name, break a heart. But they switched it, and those are the kind of lyrics where I would read the lyrics to those songs or the specificity of Hands Down by Dashboard Confessional, where I'd be reading those lyrics and I'd just finish reading a line and just go, oh my God. I got a publishing deal when I was 14.
Wow.
I was signed by a guy named Arthur Buenahora at Sony, and he just believed that I had a perspective that mattered. And I actually asked him if he could please hold my songs from being pitched to other artists. I was like, just give me some time to try to get a record deal. I'm gonna try so hard. I could almost compare it to the Brill Building. They have these offices on Music Row, or at least they had a lot of them then, that were these small houses, these cottages and bungalows. Now we have really tall buildings. Basically, you'd go there and there'd be 3 songwriters writing in this room, 3 songwriters in this room, 4 in this room, 2 in this room. And I would just go to school. Then my mom would drive me downtown 30 minutes, and I would go and I'd have a songwriting session with someone that I'd never met before, but I really didn't want to come in unprepared, so I'd walk in with 4 to 5 nearly finished things, 2 half-finished things, 10 hooks, because I just never wanted people to be like, yeah, there's this little kid that thinks she can swan her way into Music Row and just write songs with these hit songwriters. But I think one of my favorite things about the Nashville music scene, country music and the storytelling where it was when I arrived there was almost this tradition of sort of breaking the fourth wall, making the song then a part of the song, or the writing of the song becomes a part of the song. And I did that in a song called Tim McGraw, where I'm singing about this kind of love lost and hoping that person thinks of me, and then in the bridge it's revealed that I wrote this song and I hope he hears it. The song Our Song, which I still love so much, it's all about this romance and this relationship, and then in the end it says, I grabbed a pen and an old napkin and I wrote down our song. So I loved doing that. I still kind of love doing that. The kind of just and it was me.
I grabbed a pen and an old napkin and I wrote down our song.
My favorite end plot twist, I think, that I've done in songwriting is the ending of The Last Great American Dynasty.
Oh my
That's my
God,
favorite
yes.
one. It is just so much fun to tell this story
I still
about
want to
this
hear that song so
real
bad.
woman
to
who
show you
lived in
guys
history, and she
so bad.
defied the social norms, and she drove people crazy, and she had a marvelous time ruining everything. And you talk about the house she lived in on the coast, and basically then in the end you're she moved away from Holiday House. It sat quietly on that beach, free of women with madness, their men and bad habits, and then it was bought by me. And you're like, every time I get to that part when I would sing it on tour, I just like have to kind of like, like I wanted my grin to go from here to here, but that looks crazy. So it's like I had to like taper down my own excitement that hook happened.
Jesus
Then it was
Christ.
bought by me.
I learned you can't ever really tell if other people are going to like it. But oftentimes when I love it to a certain degree, that kind of tends to match up with people. And it could be that it doesn't match up with the way people feel till six years later. I loved the Reputation album. I was like, you guys say what you want. I know what I did.
Look, there you go. Rick was just saying that.
Just a little context for that. Reputation got 0 nominations, and
Wow.
there's a documentary. It's about an hour and a half. It's called Miss Americana, and it's and I would love to watch it with you guys someday. But it's right around the Reputation to Lover era. It's kind of that transition where she's talking about everything that happened throughout the Reputation era, and you know how she's feeling moving into the Lover era, whatever. But in the documentary, there is a clip where she's sitting on the couch. She gets a call from, you know, her PR publicist. I'm not sure who it was exactly, but they let her know, hey, you know, and they'd been going back and forth all morning, waiting for results on nominations. And she called and was like, hey, you know, you unfortunately didn't get nominated in any of the categories
At
for
all?
Reputation. None.
Wow.
0 nominations.
Haters.
And Taylor got really down on herself, and she was like, it's okay, I just have to make a better album. And so like she thought Reputation wasn't good enough. And so anyway, she's gonna dive into that a little bit more here. But yeah, it's just really weird to think about, because like for me, that's like one of her best albums.
Show me a better verse the year that came out other than Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, literally.
Show me a better verse.
Yeah. So
I love it. Like, go with God. Sorry. Like, you can come around if you want. It's okay if you don't. And then, you know, 6 or 7 years later, people are like, oh my God, like, ready for it. Like, people slept on that song.
Are you ready for it?
That's how it goes.
When we were making that
Yeah,
song, I
that
just
shit
remember like I
slaps.
wanted to like headbang myself through a wall. I felt that when we wrote Ready for It. I felt that way during writing Getaway Car. I felt that way. I think the first time I felt like I don't care if people hate this because I love it so much was when I wrote the song Love Story. When I was 17, sitting in my bedroom, mad at my parents because they wouldn't let me go on a date with a guy who's too old, so I shouldn't have been on a date with him anyway. And this is why you need to discipline your kids, because they might write songs that go number one.
There you go. See? Disciplining you, it will work out in
When
their
I
favor.
wrote Speak Now,
Yeah.
I was 18 and 19, and I was coming from this big, massive moment that I had with an album called Fearless, and it had won Album of the Year at the Grammys, and it was this big, it was the first time there was like this big debate over
Was that the
whether I
Kanye
deserved
year?
to be there. There
Was
are
that
always
Kanye?
going to be like,
no, she
Fearless, yeah, 18, 19.
I'm trying to think what song she had won for. You Belong With Me. That might be Fearless. Honestly,
Okay.
I don't know why I'm brain farting right now, but it could have been. Yeah.
They'll
They'll
let
let
you
us
know
know
in
in
the
the
comments.
comments. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Swifties.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah,
They'll
same
let you
team.
know in the comments. I got you.
Yeah.
Don't worry
like
about it.
little debates. Do you know what I mean? But this was like headline news. I was like, these discussions can lead to a really bad place if I don't do something to counteract them and to prove that, no, it wasn't my co-writers that did all this work. And yes, I am the author of this entire body of work that I was very proud of. I'd written so many songs alone, and I love collaboration. I love co-writers, but it's not something that I needed. It's when I started to trust myself as an editor, because a lot of what I'll do in a session, even now, and one of the reasons why Liz Rose and Jack Antonoff became like people that I loved to write with for albums and albums, is because I'll have this stream of consciousness pouring out, and Liz would sit there with a notepad. But when you take that away, I just started, recording everything, right? Recording everything on a voice memo. Because there will be times when I'm like kind of in a zone and I'm writing so fast that there's no chance I'm going to remember what that melody was that I did 2 minutes ago that I thought was cool for the verse. That was a really important album for me in terms in terms of becoming a writer that knew I could trust my own intuition.
And just a quick reminder, the album she's talking about, Speak Now, that was her, I believe, 3rd studio album.
Yeah.
And it's the one she had absolutely 0 co-writers, 0 collaborations. She did the entire album top to bottom.
The one that has that song about Kanye.
Correct.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
The one that you're 32 or...
And it seems
Still
like she
growing up
was
now,
obviously out to prove something at that point in time. So it seems like she was, of course, still able to do it herself. I will also say, though, that what she just said, though, is crazy because I can relate to that just as, once again, as a songwriter. It's so crazy that you get this melody in your head and you're like, this melody sounds perfect. And then you work on this song for like 2 minutes and then it's complete, like you literally don't remember how and it's literally the same words, the words, and it's like, but that's not how I said it, and that's not how it felt at that time. So it's literally crazy that that's
and she's got other like little interviews and stuff where she kind of talks about her process, and she talks about how she keeps like her phone like obviously right next to her, and there'll be times like where she'll wake up in the middle of the night dead out of sleep and just record something on her phone that she was dreaming about or thinking about while she was sleeping. And then she'll send it off to Jack or whoever she's working on her album with, go back to sleep, and then wake up the next morning and be like, oh yeah, I recorded it. So, but yeah, it's crazy how that happens because like, I don't write music, but I do enjoy like just journaling. I enjoy writing poetry, and stuff like that. And it is crazy how like, something, even just like driving around, something will like spark a thought, inspire something. And it just the potential to forget it, especially when you get that feeling of, oh, this is so good.
So good.
It's
so good. Yeah.
So good. And then by the time you get home, it's fucking gone. And you're like, damn it, what was it?
Well, see, and I get that because I don't do writing except for like copywriting, and that's different.
Way different, yeah.
But, and I don't do songwriting, but when I come up with a creative idea at work that pays off, it's that same thing. It's like, yes, I know this one's going to slap. Like this one is going to work really well. Yeah. So no, I totally get that. I did want to point out that I think it's interesting that she's talking about this, and that we were able to correlate that she's talking about that album where she did do that song about Kanye, and she's talking about how emotional and how much she wanted to prove in the face she's making. Yeah. So just putting that out there. All right.
Sorry,
I have little phonetic things. I love alliterations. I love, two words that start with the same letter.
Kendrick,
love that. Yeah. I don't like to have a word end with the same letter that the next word starts with. For example, in the song, Our Song, it was supposed to be when you're on the phone and you talk real low. But I was like, I don't like the real low. So it's turned into when you talk real slow. Certain words just like fly for me. And I think one of the reasons I like to take
That's interesting.
Either age-old cautionary sort of phrases or things that you've heard in books, films, kind of these classic lines, and then repurposing them, inverting them, or like redefining them in some way is because I sort of love the combination of modern vernacular and sort of old world or classic timeless speak. So in the song The Fate of Ophelia, there's a lot of sort of modern terminology and speak and kind of common phrases from the way that we talk now. But there's also, like in the bridge, there's a line from Hamlet that I repurposed.
Locked inside my memory, and only you possess the key. No longer.
I really gravitate towards juxtaposition and polarity in a line, right? So, what could you possibly get for the girl who has everything and nothing all at once? Our coming of age has come and gone. You take one word that's at the beginning of the phrase, and then you take its opposite. Because ultimately, like, we are all filled with polarity, hypocrisy, these kind of battling features and factors that make up our jagged personalities. I have my phone and I have this file where I'll just be like, I know I like that, or I know I like that word, or I know I like that question. And then when I'll go into a session, I don't have social media on my phone. Like, it looks like I'm just endlessly scrolling, but I'm scrolling through the words in my file. If we're in the middle of writing a song, I'm searching for a perfect line that I thought of 4 years ago at 3 a.m. I think the importance for me of a bridge, it just feels like,
yes, bridges.
We're painting a picture, we're setting a scene. We have this opportunity as a songwriter to tell an entire story, an entire movie, or a very detailed description of one scene in a movie, or a very nuanced dynamic between people, or a complicated emotion. And we have only so long to do this, you know? I've written some really long songs in my life, but for the most part, they're between 3.5 and 4 minutes. You can start like painting the picture in the verse. You can get to the heart of it at the chorus, but then the bridge can be where you zoom back, you walk 20 feet back, and you see what this entire painting was supposed to be. Like, you've seen brushstrokes, you've seen the color tones, but the bridge can be when you step back and you feel everything that piece of art was supposed to make you feel. That's just how I feel about bridges. I came up as a songwriter in Nashville.
Honestly, that's really interesting.
That's a really elegant way to explain the way she approaches building stories and using the bridge to tell said story.
Yeah,
and that makes sense why the bridges are like that, or why they feel like that.
Yeah, why they feel like you're
getting that 30,000 foot view.
That expansion on the story, that other kind of perspective. And like, you know, Robert said this many times on here, is like, you know, sometimes the bridge almost feels like a whole different song inside the song, like same topic and everything, but just kind of like flipped on its head. So it feels like a completely different song. That's so interesting.
Or it feels like an expansion on a third verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that behind the scenes commentary on a DVD.
Right.
That tells you what it was like and what everything
director's
is.
cut, where he's got like the little voiceovers.
I think that expansion on the third verse is a really good way to put it, because I would think, and I don't know, obviously I guess I should do more history to music writing, but I would think a bridge, which sounds like a word, would technically kind of be more used to just get you from the ending of this verse or so to like the end of your song. Instead of you having to write more bars, you kind of use this bridge to get you to the end of the song, I would think. So I would feel that most people, and if you look at music, honestly, most people use a bridge as just like that. It's usually something simple. It's usually something that's like a couple of bars that just kind of get you over to the next thing. She uses it as like another verse. Like, she will write a whole nother song, just like it sounds like, inside of that. So I think that that's big, because once again, for most of the music that you hear, that is literally, the bridge is literally just kind of like something to kind of, it's usually the same thing over and over, like 3 or 4 times to kind of get you to the end of the song or to the hook or wherever. So I think that the way that she looks at it plays a big part in that.
Yeah, no, that's I love that. And yeah, it's just, that's really cool. I'm glad that they asked her about bridges, honestly. It's such a small like thing, but it's just really cool to hear from her perspective how she views that bridge.
It's a small thing, but it's a huge thing in the Swiftie culture.
It is. Well, and even just going back, like, you know I didn't pause, but towards the beginning of the episode of the interview, when she was talking about, you know, like where she kind of has gotten inspiration from, and hearing the way, and I like Kenny Chesney. I've not, like, I don't know a bunch of his songs. I know a few. And so just hearing her talk about the way his music is and how she reads his music, and I'm like, it's same. That's like, you can tell that she has taken a lot of inspiration. I'm sure not just from him. I'm sure a lot of artists, you know, but it's just really cool to see, because that never in my life, if somebody asked me, you know, who's somebody that Taylor takes huge inspiration from for how she formats her music, never in my life would I have ever been like, oh, Kenny Chesney. Like, never, ever, ever. So that's just really freaking cool to hear that.
I think that's I think it's one of those things. I absolutely loved when she said that. I loved the list that she went through because it was such a diverse list of people that you wouldn't think that she would. But I think I related to, and it's funny because when she was saying that and talking about how much she loves this and when she was young and writing and all of the above, I related to sports because I think it's like those kids that grow up and they just absolutely love like basketball. They just absolutely love football, and everything that they do is just basketball and football. And they watch everybody. They study everybody. They look at everything. And I think that's what it is for her. And you can tell by the way that she does this. This is her sport. This is what she loves to do. But you can tell it's that passion. And I think it translates all across. It's usually those kids that have been doing it, like LeBron James, that have just had this passion for this ever since they were kids. This is just what they do. This is what they live. They breathe it, and then they grow up with it. And I think for her, that's just exactly what music was. It was just literally what she was living and breathing, and like this is what she was like born and like bred to be, honestly.
Oh, well, absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry.
But real quick, what I was going to say is, and the only reason I'm going to repeat is because Robert wasn't there for it, because it was during the docuseries that we watched about Behind the Eras tour. Mm-hmm. She really reminds me of like the same mindset that Michael and Kobe had, which is I'm going to show up every game no matter what, and put on the best performance possible because this might be the only time one person ever gets to see me. So they deserve to see the full thing. The
best version of me that they possibly can.
And to see an artist, especially in this day and age where people are like, oh, it's raining, it's bad weather, we're going to cancel the show. She's out there doing a huge production in fucking wind and soaking rain.
The only shows that she canceled in the entire Eras tour, from my understanding, the only dates that she canceled were dates she was forced to cancel because of the terror attack in Vienna. Mm-hmm. And so they canceled all the Vienna shows and, whatnot. But that, like, rain, anything like that,
as long as there's not lightning,
as long as it's not it's not dangerous for people to actually be out there, obviously, but like just because it's wet, no, she's out there, and there's compilation videos of it just literally like a fucking shower, raining, dumping, pouring, and she's out there still giving it like 1,000% for everybody in the audience. And it's just, it's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. Where structure is a huge part of how you effectively tell a story, right? You go verse, chorus, second verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Maybe you repeat that first verse if you want to pull at some heartstrings, if it makes sense. Now, that's something that I absolutely subscribe to, that idea that it's, structure is important. But I think that when you write enough songs, and at least in my case, the intuitive part of your songwriting brain can kind of create a new structure that's not as classically what you've been taught. Like, Jack Antonoff is a collaborator of mine and one of my best friends. We established this thing that we love to do, and we call it the rant bridge. I could point to examples like Out of the Woods, Is It Over Now, Cruel Summer, and oftentimes we love these rant bridges where it's basically like stream of consciousness, endless pouring out of emotion, intrusive thoughts, like blended with metaphor, with discussion, with shouting. Like, you want this rant bridge to feel the most intense of what that feeling is that you're trying to establish over the course of the song. And you want it to kind of be a crescendo. We usually love those so much that we then bring them back. So we'll go, verse, chorus, rant bridge, sometimes like a little post-coda to that rant bridge, last chorus, bring the rant bridge back, maybe with the chorus chords underneath it.
I love the way she's such a songwriter that she literally
talks Jack sending me a track during COVID, and me immediately knowing that it needed to be about how I felt as a performer and an entertainer within this moment when entertainment and art has effectively shut down. I'm still going to stand on this tightrope. I'm still up on the trapeze. I'm still going to try to do tricks for you. But at the same time, being a person in the public eye, I've really begun to realize that you are a mirror. Like, you are a mirror for your fans, for the media, for people on the internet, for just people who don't even really care about your music, but they know who you are. However they feel about themselves and their life will be projected onto how they perceive you.
Spinning my highest heels, love, shining just for you.
A public
can't
person
wait.
who makes art,
The Long Pond.
I cannot wait to fucking show you guys the Long Pond sessions. Oh my God.
What the hell is the Long Pond session?
So the Long Pond Sessions, Long Pond Studio is it's a studio. I believe it's Aaron Dessner's studio. And the Long Pond Studio Sessions is for Taylor's album Folklore, where she sits down with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff and everybody who worked on the album. And every song, she kind of like talks about the inspiration. They talk about the process of writing it, and then she live performs it, like in that clip that you just saw, where she like live records it in the studio. I cannot wait to start doing Long Pond studio sessions with you guys.
The content she puts out for her fans, I wish every artist did this.
I will. It's funny because once again, watching this, a few things that I am noticing right now, and I will say I can definitely see and understand. And you guys telling me that is kind of mind blowing because I've never really heard of anybody doing this. And obviously, we've went over this before. She doesn't need to do any of this. She can, of course, just release whatever and then go do whatever she feels like. But you can tell even from this interview that this is what she loves. She's passionate about this. This isn't like for her to become a millionaire or to become famous. Like, it's literally her passion for this. One thing that I've noticed in this interview, not one time in this interview has she said anything like, oh, I'm the best. And then when I feel like, and I just like everything that she says is literally with some passion behind it. And it's like, I literally wrote it because of this, or I did it because of this. Like, that says a lot.
It's honestly, it's really
100%.
interesting. And unfortunately for everybody out there, okay, we're probably not going to do the full freaking docu-series again because we've already done the full 6 episodes.
Yeah,
that's a lot to commit to take Robert through that again. But there are so many times. So there's this docu-series that shows like behind the scenes of the Eras tour and just everything that went into putting this massive tour together, and there's a lot of moments in this docuseries where Taylor is like, going out for like a rehearsal or, talking about what they're planning for the stage setup or the dance or like whatever, writing out song lists or whatever. And you can tell just by the way she talks and she talks to everybody around her and the way she talks about what's happening, that she truly feels like the least important factor to her team. Like she does not like, and I don't want to say least important, but that like everybody, she's very well aware that the show doesn't happen, that this level of success doesn't happen if it's not for everybody down to the freaking lights and audio guys and the people who bring food and like literally everybody. You know?
And to add on to that and speaking to the passion, in that series, you see that she does every concert she goes to, she does like a little mashup of 2 songs. And
sometimes 3.
Yeah. And every single episode of this, she just sits down with her phone and her keyboard and she starts working it out. And you can tell it's not like a burden. It's a passion. Like she's enjoying sitting there and figuring out how she's going to mend this chorus into this bridge, back into the chorus, into the second verse
from these different songs.
Yeah. And it's you can see the passion behind it. And that's what makes it,
for sure,
I think, so enjoyable as a fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think for me as a fan, I guess I would say now, and also just as a songwriter, I know, look, there's Activate. Look.
We got a whole collection.
But also as a songwriter, just once again, the small things that she does, like this whole thing of her saying that she has this file where she puts these things that she writes or these ideas that she comes up with. I absolutely love that because I have that exact same thing. Like you sometimes comes up with these things in your mind and you're like, oh, this is so great. And at that point in time, you don't have anything specific. Like I just asked them there, but there you go. You know, at that point in time, you don't have anything specific for it, but you know that it's such a good line that you put it in a file somewhere, and then when you're writing a song later, you come back to it and you're like, oh shoot, you know, like that.
Yes,
so I think that's great because that really once again shows the passion and how she does it. This looks like you're selling these, bro. Like
I am right now, bro. I am. I ain't no lie here.
Not for sale.
Opalite, there you go.
Oh yeah, I want Opalite. Oh, maybe I do want.
I'm doubling up. I'm doubling up tonight. Doubling up.
I love it.
I'm gonna send you another one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna get you one with that says Endgame on it.
Endgame or False God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, False God would.
Yeah, that False God one though.
Saxophone.
Yeah,
a little saxophone charm.
Yeah. I was listening.
Mine says Just Married and Elizabeth Taylor. How fucking coincidental.
Yeah, that one's from Opalite music video.
Let's go.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I've been ready.
Is a mirror ball.
I was ready in 84, but I wasn't born till 86.
Oh my God, you're dumb.
And that's part of why I've been able to keep my wits about me through all this, because I know that. And I'm really kind of aware of that dynamic, but I'm still endlessly fascinated by people, by the human experience, by why people are the way they are, by the ways that they feel emotion. I think that's what keeps us connected, even though, you know, you can make these kind of like shockingly vulnerable confessions within a song by being like, I've never been a natural. All I do is try. And
I love that line.
You say that at first, and I remember writing that and being like, oh my God, this feels like, do you want to say this? And I'm like, actually, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. That always overrides my discomfort with if a line feels too true, because I don't really think that there's anything that's too true. The whole thing with All Too Well was that this was a very emotional rant that I did in like a sound check. We were...
Okay, real quick, Robert, you need context. All Too Well is a very famous song by Taylor Swift. Many Swifties consider it like her crown jewel. It's a 10-minute song.
There's a regular version that's like 4 to 5 minutes, but then there's the 10-minute version. And that's the one. That's like the Swiftie song. Like, yeah.
And it's about her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal.
So, and there's a short film. There's a short film with it, and we are actually going to be doing that very soon. But yeah, so just that little bit of context.
Full context. Yeah.
Rehearsing for the Speak Now tour, I was very sad in a way that, you know, you're like 21 years old and you're just like excruciatingly, just like you are. Sadness is you are sadness. In a break, I just started playing the same 4 chords over and over again. It's basically the same 4 chords over and over again for the whole song. And it just became this thing where I just started rambling. And this thing went on for a really, really long time. It was like more than 10 minutes that this rambling rant went on, and it wasn't cohesive and it wasn't really that structured, but it felt afterward like, I think my mom or somebody went up to the sound guy and was like, did you by any chance record any of that? And he was like, yeah, I did. And I would have walked away from it if he didn't have a recording of it. Wow. So I went back and listened to it.
Crazy.
And was like, oh, here's this 10-minute, like basically catharsis of intense emotion. Like there are some really angry, scathing parts that I was like,
oh yeah.
Kind of going to have to make this into a song that's a little bit more palatable, because I already felt so like raw putting that song out as detailed as it was. So then it goes out into the world. It didn't make a lot of noise, that song, for the first 6 months to a year, but then the fans just did a thing that they've done a few times, where this song just keeps bubbling up. They did this with Cruel Summer too, where they're just like, no, we like it. We don't care if a label wants to put it out. We love this one. So I ended up playing it on the Grammys. I made the mistake of kind of explaining how the song came to be in an interview. It ended up being a really fortuitous mistake that turned into being like, oh, I'm so glad that happened. But for years, the fans were like, give us the 10-minute version, give us the 10-minute version. And I was like going back through diaries and finding like little fragments of it. And I didn't have the like old thing anymore. So I was looking through safes trying to find the CD, but I had to go back and piece together lyrics and stuff. But that was the most extensive restoration process I've ever done on a song. Never. I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that again.
That's really fucking intense, honestly.
That's super intense, bro. That's like literally like, I love that she put it and called it a restoration project. That's literally like taking an old painting and like restoring it to what it was, bro. I thought she was saying like that they recorded, which it sounded like she said that they recorded that original 10 minutes where she was actually writing it, but I thought she was saying like she still had that and just released that, but she's saying like they didn't even have that anymore.
Well, yeah, she took that 10-minute, cropped it down to a 4-minute song, released that, and lost the old file.
But she must have did an interview where she's told everybody that she had a 10-minute interview.
Yeah, exactly. So once All Too Well started to kind of pick up, like she said, you know, like for the first like 6 months to a year, it wasn't like really doing much, but like the fans were really loving it, but the label just, it wasn't what they wanted to do. And so
label doesn't know crap.
Exactly.
Label doesn't know shit.
But then like the song started to blow up and streams started going up and all this stuff. And so, you know, I think she was on like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. And he had asked her about the song and, you know, about writing that song, what it was like. And she told this same story. She was like, oh, you know, I showed up, you know, and she just told the story. She's like, I ranted for about 10 minutes and then we cut it down to, you know, a song that could actually be on an album because nobody wants to listen to a 10-minute song. And then the Swifties freaked out. They were like, fuck you. Yes, we do. Yeah,
exactly. The fuck you. The fuck we don't.
So for years, it was like, where's the 10-minute version? There would literally be like chants at concerts and award shows. Like, where's the 10-minute version? Well, like, where's the 10? Like, it was crazy. The fans were begging for it. So when she did all of her re-records, she included All Too Well, the 10-minute version, Taylor's version, as a vault track. So we still have the original version that she put out, you know, when she was younger. And then she also gave us the full 10 minutes. So
that's dope.
And then made a short film, which, by the way, she doesn't really star in. She's directing it. So it's pretty cool. I'm actually really excited to show you guys the short film eventually. It's got some pretty big like actor names in it. And it's a really good little short film. So, and the song is gorgeous. The songwriting in it is just insane. So,
yeah.
All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is Robert's topic right here.
Awesome. There you go.
Yeah, that opening line.
There you go.
There are so many different ways that a song begins in my world. I'll take an example like the song Elizabeth Taylor. I'm riding in the car with Travis. I go on and explaining to Travis like why I love Elizabeth Taylor so much. She fought for artists' rights. She was exploited in so many ways, and yet she kept her humanity, she kept her humor, she kept her passion for life. And I'm just going on and on. I'm like, her eyes were violet. Some people said they were blue. Some people said they were violet. I think they were violet. And we arrive, we get home. He gets out of the car and I'm just in my head, I'm like, this intrusive melody of like, I'd cry my eyes violet, Elizabeth Taylor. And I'm just like,
okay, I can't. I have to pause it here. Just really quick. I just have to let my pettiness out a little bit. Okay, so for everybody that has been on both of our Elizabeth Taylor videos, like, she's not talking about Elizabeth Taylor having violet eyes. She's talking about because she has blue eyes, and when you cry, your eyes turn red, which blue and red together makes purple. No. Please stop trying to
they actually said Elizabeth Taylor had violet eyes.
Like, please stop trying to make things what they are because you want to make them what they are. Sometimes the easiest explanation is the correct one, okay?
Correct one. They do try to make it so like broken down, like she's just like saying she has violet eyes.
It's like saying this Elizabeth Taylor fucking friendship bracelet right here that was so nicely sent to us.
Yes. Thank you, Bridget.
Has all these clear beads on them because it's Elizabeth Taylor being so transparent. And Taylor, no, it's because white diamonds.
White diamonds. Okay,
white diamonds.
Fine. So anyway, I just had to have
and lovers. They're forever.
I just had to have my little petty moment. I love all of you out there, but I just
You know what I'm going to do after this?
Sometimes some of the things that I read in the comments, I just have to like shake my head. I'm like, what? Like what?
You know what I'm going to do
Anyway,
after this?
what?
I'm going to go outside. I'm going to cough so hard, I'm going to cry my eyes violet.
Scrambling to open my record like app on my phone. But that's like one of those spontaneous places where it floats down like a cloud in front of you and all you have to do is grab it and the song transpires from there. It comes as if from nowhere. That's a really fun way that songs come about. That's the way it happens most of the time. Another way that a song could happen is that a producer that I love to work with, like Aaron Dessner or Jack Antonoff, could make an instrumental, send it to me, and immediately I'll write what's called a top line on top of it. That's the vocal melody and the lyrics. Another way of writing songs is that you're in the room with your collaborator and one of you starts playing something, like for example, Jack starts playing this piano part and it turns into this song called New Year's Day. That piano part was just like enough to springboard the entire song.
Oh, my heart.
On the floor after the party.
Writing sessions is a way that I love to write because you're all in the room, everyone's bringing ideas, everyone's chiming in. I always apply the rule, may the best idea win. I don't care if it came from you, or me. If it's better, that's what goes in the song. And I do kind of like it when people challenge me on something because I never want to be in the room with creators who are afraid that if they have a better idea, like they can't argue with me because it must be my idea that makes it through. I'm never going to grow that way.
I fucking love
Well,
that.
I think that, the 2010s was a time for women in the entertainment industry that we need, we'll talk about it later. Like we're all just still, we're all still limping away from that. And I think that conversations are much more healthy now around, there's a difference between art and going and ranting on an Instagram live. Like there's a difference. This is a song. This takes craft. This takes skill. This takes expertise. But I also am really excited that I'm a massive Somber fan of his songwriting and his lyrics are so intensely confessional. I don't want another man's child to have the eyes of the girl I can't forget. Are you kidding me? Having a male artist say stuff like that is really good for the cause of women to be able to say stuff. If there's any way we can make confessional songwriting a little bit more of something that isn't people take that as sort of you were being messy or whatever, you have to be fair to everyone then. Are rap beefs messy or are they confessional? We've got to just let's make it a music conversation rather than just ganging up on the female artists. And I think the more male artists that are messy or emotionally complex or confessional or upset, the happier I am.
That's why she likes Kendrick's
I can only
music
speak
so
to you,
much.
but as
That
I've
makes
grown
sense.
up, the intensity of the sort of, no pun intended, message in a bottle nature of my songwriting has shifted and changed into something else. It used to be I can't tell a person how I feel, so I'll write it in this song. And that was really important for me at the time that it was important for me. It's also, important when you're in your early 20s and there's someone you shouldn't talk to and you don't want to call them because they're bad for you and it's toxic, so you write it in the song and that's where it lives, almost as a method of self-control or self-preservation or something. But for the Folklore album and everything like that, it wasn't as a response to having a public life and the intrusions that come with that. It was really more of just wanting to challenge myself as a writer. I really have always just thought it would be so amazing to write books. And it's so exciting to have the challenge of
I might have jumped the gun, but
could I
it'll be
get
coming
enough
up
plot
soon.
points in a 3.5 minute song to where people felt like they read something after they heard it, or just take you back to that bedtime story kind of tell me a story. I want to be able to put my own image on these characters. And it was really amazing when it opened up my world. I don't think my songwriting has ever been the same after Folklore. I have always had a little bit of that sort of character play in my songwriting since.
Yeah.
And I hope
Yes.
it never goes anywhere because it's really fun.
You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says most times. This time it was true.
I kind of like being a narrator that's not the person I relate to. So the narrator in Clara Bow is either a studio, like a Hollywood studio person, or a label executive who's sitting, in my mind, behind a desk and meeting with a brand new starlet who's just come to town. The exec says, "You look like Clara Bow in this light. It's remarkable. You're so special. You're amazing. We're going to make you just like her." In my mind, that girl was Stevie Nicks, right? So Stevie Nicks sits down. They tell her she looks like Clara Bow. She's got those big moon eyes, and we're going to make you just like her. Don't worry. We're going to put you through this machine, and you'll be a god. The second verse says, "You look like Stevie Nicks in this light, the hair and lips." So in my mind, that was me that sat down opposite that desk, right? I sit down at a record label, and they're like, "You look like Stevie Nicks. We'll make you the next Stevie Nicks." And basically, you learn that, like, you're in this machine, and they're trying to make you into a woman that they just idealized and then discarded. Like, the entertainment industry loves
Life of a showgirl,
right?
Yeah, Life of a Showgirl plays into that. And I'll show you guys Clara Bow eventually. It's a really, really beautiful song, and it's very deep, obviously.
Yeah.
But yes, Life of a Showgirl also definitely plays into that idea of
they use you and discard you.
This rotating, what are those rotating doors called, you know?
Rotating doors.
No, I think there's a name for it.
Revolving doors?
Maybe that's it. I don't know. But
Rotisserie.
A
Wait, no,
rotisserie
that's a chicken. Never mind.
That's a chicken, yeah. I think it's
And milk.
revolving
But
doors.
it's spinning.
Yeah.
Like my wheels.
oh my God. Anyway.
Keep spinning.
We love
Ride
you.
slow, homie.
We don't know who you are. Why are you even here? And so in the last verse, in my mind, it's a new artist that sits down across from a record label desk and they say, "You look like Taylor Swift. In this light, we're loving it. You've got edge she never did. The future's bright, dazzling." And because that's also another thing that you get when you're a female in the music or the entertainment industry, movies, whatever. It's like, "Oh, you're like this person that we like." They name a big name and they're like, "Oh, but you're gonna be so much better. It's gonna be so no, it's gonna be cooler. You're so much better." Like, to offset the comparison. On Red, there was a song that I wrote alone in a hotel room when I was 22 years old called "Nothing New," where it sounds ridiculous, but at 22 years old, I felt completely washed up. I felt like maybe the only thing that made me special was that I was this like teen phenom, whatever I was looked at as. So I wrote this song and it includes lines like, you know, how can a person know everything at 18 and nothing at 22? Because when I was 18, I had the Fearless album come out and I had my first international #1s and everybody was like, "Oh, this writing, it's so true, it's so honest. She feels like she deserves to be here." And then there was this big upheaval of, "No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She sucks, actually." And it was like, it really turned the tables on my perception of like, love can be so quickly handed to you and then taken away. And it's this
Yeah.
kind of strange thing with fame. And that was the first time I ever grappled with that. Somebody was like, "Oh, you're 22 years old and you're saying like, are you tired of me? If you're not yet, are you going to get tired of me?" Because it's usually something that you would sing about later in life, but the entertainment industry, I'll tell you, there's 10 years for every year you're in it. But it's fun. Songwriting is something that it's a very intimate, tiny little thing for me. I have a lot of things I like to do. I like to bake. I like to make art. I like to paint. I like to sew. I like to write songs. And I try to keep it as like dear to me as those other things I just named. I have to know that like there's certain things that we have as a tradition between me and my fans. They love for an emotional song to be track 5. There's like special things like that, but at the same time, there's sort of so many of them now, which is great, but there's corners of my fan base who are gonna take things to a really extreme place. There's nothing I can do about that. There's people who are gonna try to like do detective work, figure out the details. Who is that about? What is this? When it gets a little bit weird for me is when people act like it's sort of like a paternity test. Like, this song's about that person, because I'm like, that dude didn't write the song I did. But that's part of it. You have to hold tight to your perception of your art and your relationship with it, and then you just kind of have to like, there it goes. Hope you like it. If you don't now, hope you do in 5 years. And if you never do, then I was doing it for me anyway. Yeah, criticism.
That's big.
That's real right there.
Yeah.
She's doing it for her, not for anyone else.
Absolutely.
We just appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And I just honestly, I just really loved this. This was one of the clips that I actually saw of this interview on Instagram because it went crazy. Because despite what Taylor just said, which in my opinion is very, very clear to me, she's saying, look for your Easter eggs. But stop being fucking weird and trying to give a paternity test to every single one of my songs because my music is multifaceted. Is how I take what she took, right? This clip is going viral across every social media platform right now with Swifties trying to dig deeper into it to figure out what she's trying to say. And I just...
Like, she didn't say that, what she was really saying.
It's a triple entendre.
Yeah, like, so look, I just want to say, like, I love that Taylor finally addressed this because, and this is something I'm just going to be like very transparent and honest with the audience about, is like, this is something I struggle with a lot because I know that you guys out there, not all of you, but a lot of you out there want me to like put a name to every single song that I show these boys, who it's about, which ex-boyfriend it's about, whatever. And I try to do that, but like sometimes it's just, it doesn't, there's no confirmation. It doesn't feel right. And then I get ripped up in the comments for not doing it. And honestly, right now, I am going to mark this as our moving forward. Like, if it is not confirmed who a song is about, or it's not like very clear who it's about, I'm going to start replying to those comments with what Taylor just said. That dude didn't write the song, Taylor did.
So here's my thing is, I get it, like, for Thank You, Amy. Like, I need to know that's clear. About Kim Kardashian. Yes. Right? Like, that context helps me understand the song better.
Right.
But a song like Getaway Car, I don't need the context of it's supposedly about Tom Hiddleston. Like, I understand what the song is really about based on the story and the lyrics she's telling.
And I think that's the perfect example of, like, what I was kind of saying as far as how I want to move forward with the channel. So
big brain,
you know, just a little heads up to all of our Swiftie viewers out there. We love you, but we are not doing paternity tests on all these songs anymore.
I was just going to say, I don't think that it really matters, but I will say that I love how she kind of ended this part right here where we paused it. Because a few things I love how once again she bundled it with the things that she loved and like her hobbies, because you could tell that once again songwriting and music is just one of those things that she loves. It's just one of those things that she would just love to sit down and do along with those other things. But one of the things that I did love and respect is just now is what she was saying with this, is that she feels like, even though I agree with her, like there's no need to like try to dig into this and figure out exactly who it's about, but she understands that is part of it. And I love that she understands as an artist that your art is going to be perceptive. It's going to be perceived however someone perceives it. You can paint a heart and somebody will see that heart and say, well, the reason why they painted this heart is because, but the reason behind that though is because of their mind and what they're going through and what their feelings are and what, you know, and that's technically art though. So for some people to see things and you know, have their own perceptions of it, it's art. But I love that she looks at it that way because that is her art.
Yeah.
Well, I think people forget, and maybe not forget, but they let it go, is that great art is supposed to elicit an emotional response.
Like a personal emotional
That is what makes it great art. Like the reason Banksy's got so big is because his art elicited an emotional response.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, Taylor elicits a very emotional response, and that's great. That's what makes her great.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think it's just like, I think a lot of the times, especially like the Swifties who are like really deep into like the detective, Easter egging, paternity testing, everything, is like they get so wrapped up in being a Swiftie that they forget that, like you said, music is art. It's supposed to make you feel something about you. So like, and you guys haven't heard this song, but there's a song on Tortured Poets Department that is called The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Oh, I've heard it.
And I know you have.
Sorry. I was like, I've heard that shit.
I have not heard that, but
there are, you know, arguments out there about who this song may have been written about, which man that she was dating at the time. that it could have been written about. But like for me, no, she wrote that about my ex. She wrote that song is about my ex. You know what I mean? It's not about Maddie Healy. It's not about, no, that song is about my ex. That's, you know, and I think people forget that layer of music as well, is that like, because Taylor does Easter egg and have fun with her fans, but it's like, I love that she's drawing a line. She's making a boundary here. And I think that that's really important, especially because of the relationship of Swifties and Taylor Swift. So, anyway.
Agreed. All right, let's finish up.
Let's finish this out. Yeah.
Has been a huge fuel for me. It's been a huge jumping off point, like a creative writing prompt or something. There are so many songs in my career that would not exist. Like Blank Space would not exist if I hadn't had people being like, here's a slideshow of all her boyfriends. Like, and then Anti-Hero is a song that I'm so proud of still. Like, that song doesn't exist if I don't get criticized for every aspect of my personality that people, you know, have a problem with or whatever.
Did you hear my covert narcissism, like disguises altruism?
My favorite thing when I sit down with new artists or songwriters, I'm like, why are you reading your comments? Like, that's too much of it. Like, that's you're inundating yourself with too much criticism that doesn't really have a focus. But I think a little bit of it, you gotta just be like, this is part of it. Like, don't make this make you stop writing or make you edit yourself or whatever. If it's an interesting point to you to kind of respond to, then that's a gift for you to be able to write something. Maybe you wouldn't have written something that day. But don't like, God, don't go to the like notes app and post it. Like, write about it. Make art about this. Don't respond to like trolls in your comments. That's not what we want from you. Bro. We want your art.
That's that Mamba mentality. That's so.
All right. So, one, I really like this. I like learning about her creative process. It gives me more buy into every song, knowing how it can be put together, whether it's a huge restoration like All Too Well, or if it's something where it's just, like she said, brought down from a cloud like Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor.
Also, yes, Swifties, I am following the current clowning, okay? But it would just be too much to try to explain.
It's too much right now. Too much.
It'd be too much to try to explain right now, but I'm with you, okay? I'm with you.
The other thing that I really liked about this, and it was the biggest surprise to me in all of this, was the emo influence in her lyrics. Yeah. And I really loved her talking about Dashboard Confessional and Fall Out Boy, just really tying back to that millennial where we Panic at the Disco.
Well, and it's really interesting too, because you and I have had, this conversation about Taylor covers and how we're not big fans of Taylor covers unless it's like emo. And there is a whole genre out there that is called Swemo, and it's Swiftie emos.
Fuck yes.
And
fuck yes.
I love it because they will take Taylor's music, Taylor's songs, and they will turn them into emo rock
Band-Aids
songs.
don't fix bullet holes. That could have came from fucking MCR right now.
Literally, so I love Swemo and just seeing how much of an influence that she takes from that or has taken from that over her career. It's like, that's why her music works in emo form so well, because she's so inspired by that style of writing and composure of her songs.
And of course, like the last thing I'll bring up that I really liked was her talking about how much she enjoys like alliteration and talking about, and that honestly gives me pictures of her listening to Eminem, listening to Kendrick Lamar, listening to these different hip hop artists that I know she actually does enjoy because we've seen other clips her talking about it. But no, I really love this interview. Yeah. I love getting the behind the scenes view of her creative process. So 5 out of 5 stars, I do recommend.
I definitely have to agree with you on that. A shout out to the New York Times for putting this together. I think they're still doing a wonderful job. But honestly, like I really loved it. I think that they asked some really good questions. I think honestly, for me, the thing that I loved about this the most was just honestly being able to hear her talk freely. I mean, I'm sure that you guys are a lot of her fans have a lot of interviews or a lot of things to go off of, but this is my first time really hearing her be able talk freely. And once again, I think that the most amazing thing to me is there's just so much humbleness to it. I like the way that she talks. She talks with so much just like passion and conviction. I once again can just tell that this is just what's always been made for her. I think I absolutely love though that even where she's at now, you can still feel the vulnerability that she has. You can still feel that when she writes music, she's writing it still for the passion of it and for it to be a great song. It's not like, hey, I'm just writing music to put out an album or anything like that.
Right.
Yes.
But this definitely, she felt like a regular person here. So I absolutely love that. And once again, I think another thing that stood out to me is that throughout this whole thing, even with her passion and even with me being able to see that she was going to be this person from so long ago, from hearing her story, never in that story did she say like, oh, I always knew that I was going to make it, or I just knew that I was going to be the best out, or I just never in that story. It was literally like I was working. That whole story about where she showed up to this writing session where she had 10 songs and had 4 or 5 hooks, and like, just like you said, that's like that Mamba mentality. That's like, I got to show up and make sure that if this is the one time that you guys are going to see me, you're going to see the best that's out there, like. That's
preparation makes great execution.
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, I think just overall, this was a really good interview. It really, I just love being able to relate to it. She seems like a regular person. And I think that's really good. And I love the interview itself was about the questions that were asked were really good, but it was once again about her passion. She told you about like how she comes up with these ideas. I think it's really good to see the insight into how these things come up and how she has these ideas and how she writes these songs. Yeah, I think for sure 5 stars, 5 out of 5. It's not a 10.
Yeah.
Yay, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well. I don't have a whole lot to add. I was just happy the whole time. I love hearing Taylor talk about her work. I love hearing her just talk about music in general.
Yes.
And like you said, just the passion that she talks about, even when it's not her music. And I've talked about this so many times on the channel, but like you can see that she is just a fan of music. It doesn't matter what genre, what artist, what language, what form. She just loves music and loves art. And it shows in the way that she talks about it. And it's just so fun to, listen, like you guys said, to her talk about her process. So yay, I'm so glad we got to do this together. I had a really, really, really great time watching this interview. And I'm actually really glad that I held off from watching it so we could all watch it together.
100%.
So, yeah.
One thing I did want to say is just to kind of circle back, the behind the scenes, the way our favorite songs are put together is it's really eye opening. And I love finding out the creative process. But before we get out of here, I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping.
Yes.
So we have one more recording we're doing tonight. It'll come out probably a day or 2 or 3 days after this one gets released. But we have officially finished recording the Drake and Kendrick beef.
Yes.
And we thought, what better way to really kind of wrap that up than to show Robert Taylor's way of doing a beef track.
Yes. And what's interesting about that is just the way this interview ended.
Yes.
Just the way this interview ended, Taylor talking about don't address the trolls online. Don't let them get to you. Put it into a song, write it into music and put it out to the world and let it go. We're going to be diving into a song that is a perfect example of that in our next Taylor episode. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribed and turn your notifications on and all that stuff so that you guys can get notified for it, because I think that Robert is really going to like this next track.
Agreed. And I'm glad you said that. Please do subscribe. I know it seems so small, but we actually looked at the analytics and it's something like 60% of people that view our videos are non-subscribers. And it really does make a huge difference for us. So if you could do that for us, just hit that subscribe button.
Yep. That'd be awesome.
But with that being said, we're going to get out of here. So for myself, Rick, Corrina, Robert, thank you guys so much for tuning into Hazed Reactions. We love y'all so much. We hope you guys have a great week. coming up because I think this is dropping on Monday. So we hope you guys have a great week. We love y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys.
It's kind of romantic. Actually romantic, in fact.
It's actually romantic.
Yeah.